Hello, I'm Anastasia Vest, a fourth-year student of the Faculty of Clinical Psychology. During the course of neuropsychology, we came across many outstanding scientists, but most of all, I remember the name of Natalia Petrovna Bechtereva. I would like to tell you more about her merits. The discoveries made by her have still not lost their relevance and help save people's lives not only in our country, but also around the world. Being one of the most famous female neurophysiologists, she devoted her life to studying the most complex and mysterious object in the universe, the human brain, thanks to which we are able to think, create, perform both simple and subtle actions. Short biography is presented on the slide. Among the numerous achievements of Natalia Petrovna, I would like to highlight two particularly interesting theories, the theory of stable pathological state and the theory of the error detector. The human body typically maintains the normal state. With certain diseases, usually chronic or long-term, a pathological condition is formed in the body in which the body fights the disease or simply tries to survive. The main idea of the theory is that this pathological condition can become stable and self-sustaining. Even when the factor causing the problems disappears, the body itself may not get out of this state. This condition, when the body continues to behave like a patient already after the full recovery, Natalia Petrovna called a stable pathological condition. According to this theory, when the work of some parts of the brain is disrupted, a special stable pathological condition occurs in them. In this state, electrical signals do not pass through the damaged pathway. As a result, these areas of the brain are inactive. To shake up inactive zones, specifically selected electrical signals are used, the purpose of which is to destroy a stable pathological condition in particularly sick area. In accordance with the theory, overcoming such a condition which the body considers normal is an important stage in the treatment of disease of the nervous system. Thanks to discovery of Bechtereva, new ways of treating chronic disease of the nervous system, including vision loss, have appeared. Together with the theory of a stable pathological condition, Natalia Petrovna developed methods of point electrical stimulation of subcortical and cortical areas of the brain, spinal cord, etc. It is assumed that the symptoms of various diseases of the brain are caused by the fact that certain elements of the brain function incorrectly. Therefore, turning off these areas or a certain effect on them can eliminate the symptoms of the disease. But the whole question is what these sites are and what needs to be done with them. There are about 10 billion neurons in the brain, and each of them works in its own way. This means that there may be sites within a millimeter of each other whose activities will support completely different functions. In addition, each person's brain is unique in both shape and in the localization of its functional zones at the micro level. It is necessary to influence precisely the areas with a strictly defined specialization that still need to be found. Accidental destruction of the wrong area can lead to sad consequences. Therefore, wires with the thickness of 100 microns were specifically made from the gold royal coin. They were twisted, and 6 of these thinnest wires were precisely inserted in the hemisphere, and the contacts of these electrodes were located at a short distance from each other along the length of the wire. First, electrical impulses were applied to various areas near the electrodes and determined whether the necessary ones were located. Then they were either educated or turned off. At first, the shutdown was temporary to check if there were any side effects and whether the positive ones were present. And only if everything was fine, these sites were destroyed. Intracerebral analogies of EEG data on cerebral blood flow were obtained. The so-called super slow processes and the impulse activity of the neurons were studied. For this, in particular, the patient was asked to solve certain psychological problems. Sometimes they performed them correctly and sometimes they were wrong. It turned out that when a person makes a mistake, the oxygen concentration in the brain changes. The oxygen level reflects the cerebral blood flow and in turn is associated with the activity of neurons in a certain area. This is how the area controlling the correct brain activity was discovered, and this mechanism was called an error detector. Natalia Petrovna wrote that the error detection system is one of the main ones in the brain activity. For the most types of routine activities, we have a certain standard of how to do it. When you get up in the morning, you do not plan certain procedures, washing up, shaving, etc. You do it automatically. This is provided by the matrix of standards, which can be very rigidly and stitched momentary. An error detector is a mechanism that reacts to the mismatch of real activity with its model. This is the basic mechanism of the brain, which, as recently established, works even if the patient is in coma. It acts independently of our consciousness. At the same time, the detector can subdue a person, creating a constant obsessive feeling that something has not been done or forgotten, which may eventually turn into neurosis. In addition, an error detector participates in the consolidation of a stable pathological condition. Moreover, it was proved that the stable mental dependencies that occurs with any kind of drug addiction is the result of a failure and subsequent restructuring of this particular detector. These two discoveries made it possible to develop a highly effective method of treating drug addicts successfully in 70% of the cases. In conclusion, Natalia Bechtereva laid the foundations of fundamental research and created an original scientific school in the field of physiology of healthy and diseased human brain. She created a comprehensive method for studying the principles of the structural and functional organization of the human brain, developed methodology for studying the brain mechanisms of thinking, memory, emotions, and creativity. Bechtereva's theory about the brain organization of human mental activity by a system of rigid and flexible links have been fully confirmed. The methods of treatment developed by her are applied in practice and help people. The name of Bechtereva will deservedly remain in the science and medicine. Thank you for your attention.